Yes, if we are referring to a sponge, as you correctly said, it belongs in phylum Porifera. Okay, so if that's where it belongs, why does it belong in phylum Porifera? It's got pores on the side. Okay, why are those pores there? Okay, so let water in along with their food source. It's suspended particles. Then, as it comes in, it's eventually going to go through the top. And that top part is called a what? It's called an osculum. That's right. Okay. So, as we continue, different types of not just canal systems, but different types of sponges in general. Simplest, as you can tell, tubular in shape. One of the things, since these are filter feeders, okay, these animals are very basic. Because how or why are they very basic? Because they lack two tissues, muscular and nervous tissue. That's right. When it says pull, it's not that it really creates a siphon where they open and close, and when that happens, it's not that it pulls the water through, just allows it to flow through, is probably a better term. RSP. Was it a waste of time? Not that it was a waste of time. That's not my point. Just say so. Yeah, I think you do a pretty good job with that. I think if you talk to some of them guys, I'm thinking they go home after the weekend. I'm sure their head is just pounding water. That didn't sound very good. Anyway, they still last warrior standing or something like that. I never thought.
I get it.
Well, good.
I always get to like the last 5, so there's always somebody standing on yeah.
But like I said, I think their head is just pounding. They're not used to yelling that much. And like you said, they do a pretty good job of preparing you for that, and I believe that's good. Okay. So you're gonna be responsible for 3 different types of sponges. The simplest, okay, as you can see, those are called ascenoids. Then we move up to a different classification because and how you classify how one sponge is larger than another. I really don't have an answer for that. As you can see, these are similar to the ascenoids, but they're just a little bit larger. awful in here, people sitting here. And not too bad, I hope. Surviving. You've go down to South Carolina, right? Or is it Mississippi? Maybe it wasn't that bad.
Have you ever swept for 2.5 months consistently? 24/7?
Probably pretty close down in Georgia. Yeah.
It wasn't one time.
We went to the good days. Benning instead of Jackson. That's where the infantry is.
Yeah, that's
Maybe that's where you want to go. Mr. Ranger.
I don't know.
Ranger Sam.
I don't know about either. Trying to get airborne.
Jumping out there.
It's very-
You know, we should have you sing. We got you on tape here. We should have you sing.
Sing what?
A cadence.
That was my favorite.
You a good singer?
No.
Well, if you were that, why aren't you a chorus? How do you know? How can you judge whether you are a good singer?
Because I was the platoon guy for a while, so I had to do a bunch of gigs.
Yeah.
And
See, if you can't tell, you have a version of what you think you sound like when you talk, but that's because sound waves are going this way. But then when you're on a recording, and the sound waves are coming back, do I really sound like that? I think you'd be surprised. Is anyone doing speech to get that out of the way for college? And with that, I think people basically always say, I really sound like that. I guess. Yeah. Probably you can't repeat them. Not a lot of them, that's probably true. Yes, that's it. And then in the month of May or something like that.
yes, you were in the springtime.
In the merry month of May. Okay. And unfortunately, I think talking about pushing a baby carriage and then going to grave sites.
Shotgun behind the door, like your dad will let you go to the baby carriage.
I can't remember all of it either. I know a soldier way down in Georgia.
Yep. Remember JFK? Once it wasn't.
See, we're trying to pique your people's interest. It sounds like them two are having fun talking about that.
It's kind of like you 2 or 3 or 4. Well,
Wow, that sounds like a good experience.
yeah,
No, it's not for everyone. But I maybe I'm not telling that crap too, but and no offense, but where are you supposed to smart people go? Now, I'm not saying you're not smart, because I went through the same thing. I like to think I'm somewhat smart, but where do the smart people go?
DC?
Well, no, a branch.
Oh, right
They go to the Air Force. That's right. But anyway, okay. That should be tights, not tubes or two paths. Most complex of the sponge types. Okay. So here's your coral, okay, because they form such large colonial masses, all right? Clusters, so the not only, again, just the largest of all of them because they have multiple oscula. So when we, something to think about when we start this video again. The Cambrian explosion, way back with these little tiny creatures, starts with letter T, I believe. Not that you remember. Try something. Okay, try the lights. Okay, and with that, the first type of vision that we theorize that these animals had, we're complex. We're complex humans, or you could say complex mammals. When we perceive sight, there's two different aspects that we deal with. What do you think they are? Because of the structures in our eyes. Well, it leads to depth perception, that's right. But we have rods and cones. What do you think those rods and cones might do? Has something to do with your pupils, for one. Well, when it constricts or when it dilates, why do eyes do that? Yeah, so let light in. So it's going to be your rods that will sense light. Now, one of the things that we've all seen this, cats are the most known for this, I suppose deer, cattle, dogs, shining a light, also, oh geez, there's a dog right there. You might not see their body, but of course you see their eyes, okay? And what's happening is that light bounces in, hits the back of their retina, and then it bounces back out of their eye, and then back in. But it's not that it leaves, but it has a chance to gather twice. And that's why many of these animals are much better in seeing in low light than what we are. Okay? So then we also have cones that distinguish color. Now, not everyone can distinguish the same types of color because everyone here colorblind. Usually it's red that people say, yeah, did you see that blue shirt that Shannon or that Sheldon had on? That blue shirt looks silly. Of course, the next person. What are you talking about? That's a red shirt. Some people are talking. Okay. So these first types of trilobites, eyesight began where these animals could sense it's light over there, it's dark over there. Now, this evolution is a very slow and gradual process. Okay? So animals that could gather more light or sense light, their perceptions became heightened and more heightened. And if that makes them more successful, which it does, what does it do with the traits that they have? They do what with them? Pass them where? Yeah, they pass them down in the next generation. And then that trait becomes more and more common in that population. Because those that can't quite see as well, that population dies off. Okay? That's what I believe that separates us from animals. Okay? Oh, we're going, that's for you to say. Because we do a much better job of taking care of one another, at least I like to think so. And not that other mammals, yes, they do have a conscience as well. Dogs. I don't know, I like to think I probably never really paid attention to dog behavior, but as you'll know, how many of you ever had to scold your dog? So what's probably one of the first things that they do in this type of behavior when you are scolding? What are they doing? Well, when you say how, what action are they doing when you say how? Yeah, they're dropping their head. At least that's what ours does. It drops its head and stands next to your legs and looking back. Probably his way or her way of saying what? So who took care of your dog when you were gone, Mom?
Yeah, I don't know.
Were you worried about your dog, or is it not your
I
dog?
don't like that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it was your mom that said, "Hey, you said wanted a dog."
No, we didn't. We had to get rid of that.
Oh,
You just have a
Because as I said, I don't want a dog to understand this. Understands how to walk like this. Yeah, I'm more of a big dog person. I don't like. That's just my personal opinion.
no idea.
But I don't know when we're running across country. There's a black rabbit. He is pretty good size. Barks a lot. I don't know who that is. It's really great. Not that it matters, but that's maybe some of the characteristics you try to train. Just maybe bark a couple times. Just let us know something's here. Barks doesn't. Somebody decides to take the house away from us. Oh, probably can stop. He's probably smart. Anyway, so going back to where we had left off, okay, I believe, I think it's the trilobites that were the first set of animals that we see.
Were larger and more mobile than any of their predecessors. And what's more, they evolved weapons for battle. An important aspect of the Gamma explosion is that it is an evolutionary arms race. For the first time, creatures evolved the natural weapons they still use on today's battlefields. Jaws, claws, body armor, and most critical of all, eyes appear. They're obvious, they're there, and there's no evidence for complex eyes before this Gamma explosion. These eyes are the first type to appear in the fossil record. Compound eyes. The invention of a group of arthropods called trilobites.
Oh yeah. Just want to see if that was correct.
Circular field of vision. Eyeballs, but to my surprise,
For Pete's sake. Yeah. Oh, I remember seeing the rabbit. Okay.
true for prey animals. Their vision has evolved to help them escape their killers. As predators evolved eyes closer and closer together for targeting, the eyes of their prey moved further and further apart. Today, rabbits take this strategy to the extreme. 360-degree vision.
Okay, we've seen this started. I must have stopped at a commercial break.
When the dinosaurs were running around, there were also mammals. But the only mammals that were around were very small, they fit in the palm of your hand, and they were just trying to keep out of the way of the dinosaurs.
For mammals, the era's underdogs, it was either scurry or be squashed. These tiny creatures adapted to an unexploited niche, the nighttime, and evolved a vision system that could thrive in the dark. Night vision, a triumph of eye evolution, and a trait essential for survival in many mammal species today.
Many varieties of modern mammals also see well in the dark, and many of them are also nocturnal. And in some cases, at least, this is probably left over from their evolutionary heritage, as small mammals hiding in the shadows of dinosaurs, emerging at night, and feeding.
What changes did evolution make to the eyes of nocturnal animals? That's a question Chris Kirk is trying to answer.
I tell my friends it's one of those things that you would have expected that somebody back in the 18th century went around collecting eyeballs. But to my surprise, when I started looking for data on just the gross anatomy of the eye, there was very little that had been published. And so spent about a year and a half collecting eyes.
Kirk uses his extensive collection of eyeballs to study the mechanics of night vision. By putting his subjects eyeball to eyeball, he's able to compare them. and see how their anatomy has evolved to deal with the dark. What's the difference between the eye of a day-active monkey called a marmoset and a night-active fat-tailed dwarf lemur? It's the size of their corneas.
The cornea is the window to your eye. It sets the ultimate limit on how much light your eye can gather.
The cornea is a clear curved shell that provides focusing power and ushers light into the pupil. The light hits the retina, where it is converted into electrical impulses that are funneled through the optic nerve to the brain. A complex process in a blink of an eye.
The diurnal monkey has got a very small cornea because it doesn't need to let in as much light, as you can see here, as the nocturnal lemur, which has a very large cornea that takes up nearly the entire anterior surface of the eyeball.
For night hunters, a bigger cornea is key to catching fast-moving critters in the dark. And one night hunter has pushed this anatomy to the max.
Tarsiers are something completely unique. There's nothing else like this in the world of vertebrate eyes. The diameter of the tarsier cornea is almost equal to the diameter of the eyeball.
There are 5,400 species of mammals. Relative to size, none have eyes as large as the tarsier. At 6 inches tall, it's one of the world's smallest predators. But its surveillance system outsizes the competition's.
So tarsiers need both highly sensitive vision and acute vision. One of the only ways you can get this is to build a bigger and bigger eye. And that's exactly what tarsiers have done.
How big? Try bigger than its own brain.
So this is the eye of the Philippine tarsier, and you can see that its cornea is actually a little bit larger than my own cornea. But what's really amazing about this is the fact that the tarsier's head is only this big.
The tarsier's eyes are so large, they need extra support to keep from tumbling out.
The eyeball extends past the margins of the orbit, and they have to have strong connective tissue in their eyelid to hold the eyeball in place.
With immobile eyes, the creature compensates with a neck that rotates more than 180 degrees. Tarsiers' visual adaptations show the extremes to which evolution will go. Many mammals, such as big cats, evolved another way to boost their nocturnal vision. A staple in fables and fairy tales, glowing eyes have haunted children for centuries. A nightmare to some is evolution's gift to others.
And they can see us just fine. They can see us a lot better than we can see them, for sure. If one of them was over there stalking us, we wouldn't even know that they were there. Even, without this kind of light, they know when we're coming and they know who's coming.
Eyeshine functions as more than a mere scare tactic. It's an adaptation that has made cats spectacularly successful night hunters.
These guys, they're very active at night, and in fact, you can hear them making noises, particularly the lion when he starts to roar, even at this hour of night. Also, the eyeshine, not only can they see their prey better, but also I think it makes it more intimidating to any other predators that are out there.
The source of the eyeshine is buried deep in the anatomy of the cat's eye.
On your hat?
Kirk's careful dissection reveals its inner workings. First, the retina. Then, the light-sensitive tissue lining the back of the eye. This area is known as the tapetum lucidum.
Tapetum lucidum is Latin for bright carpet. So it's the bright carpet in the back of your eye behind your retina.
So how does the tapetum work?
In your eye, or my eye, there's a black pigment behind the retina that absorbs the light so that it's not scattered. But in the species of cicada, any light that's not absorbed by the retina bounces off the mirror behind the retina, and it essentially has a second chance to be absorbed. So you've got twice the chance to absorb every incoming photon of light that your eye captures.
On the rebound, some of the light shoots back out of the eye, resulting in a glowing effect. For cats, this mechanism yields extraordinary benefits. They require only 1/6 of the light that humans need to be active in the dark.
I think of the ZPM as just this marvelous adaptation. It's such an elegant solution to a pretty straightforward biological problem. And, putting a mirror behind your retina to increase sensitivity, what could be simpler?
Cats were far from the only mammal group to evolve such an ingenious solution to night vision. Other species would reach the same result entirely on their own.
But I think really the most interesting thing about the evolution of the ZPM lucida is that it's such a good solution to this problem of enhancing sensitivity that many, many different groups of mammals have arrived at this same solution independently.
What about us? Even though we are mammals, we struggle to see clearly at night. That's because 30 million years ago, our ancestors shifted from the night to the day. When these monkey-like creatures moved to a new niche, they would evolve eyes that could see the world like never before. The human eye, able to decipher 2.3 million colors with speed and precision that makes a computer look slow. Our color vision is superior to that of many other mammals, who must get by with far less. To a dog, the world is virtually devoid of color. Only a small number of species, including our primate relatives, can see a full range of yellows, blues, greens, and most significantly, reds. But such adept color vision does not exist in the earliest primates. Its evolution has its roots in the aftermath of a mass extinction.
About 66 million years ago, a gigantic asteroid caused the extinction of all non-avian dinosaurs and paved the way for the rise of mammals.
After the dinosaurs disappear, mammals radiate. All of a sudden they start diversifying, and one group of mammals is the primates, and they go straight for the tree.
Once primates settle into the forest canopy, they evolve into new species. One of those lineages becomes day active, the ancestors of today's monkeys, apes, and humans. They evolve a new adaptation in their eyes not seen in earlier species, an expansion of their color vision. A standard range of colors consisting of blues and greens now include red. Why would primates need to see red in their new world? For clues, biologists look to primates today.
Howler monkeys are this wonderful, unique animal that may give us some insights into our own evolutionary past.
Biologist Nate Dominy has spent his career researching primates as a means of understanding our own evolution.
They're almost like a time machine. We're looking at what the ancestral monkey in Africa and Asia might have been like. We might get clues to what its diet was like, its social behavior, its anatomy. And that ancestral animal was the one that gave rise to all subsequent monkeys and apes and ultimately humans.
Dominy wanted to know why natural selection favored improved color vision in our ancestors. What did they gain by evolving to see the color red? Dominy went on a year-long journey to study primates in their natural habitats.
Part of my PhD research was to go to Africa to study monkeys with different diets and to study chimpanzees and to see if there was some sort of common or unifying food item that they might have all turned to that might explain why these monkeys all routinely share a very similar type of color vision.
Dominy scanned the rainforest canopy for test subjects, hoping to capture leaf samples from where the monkeys had stopped to eat. But he had a problem. What a monkey eats was high above his reach.
It's challenging in the rainforest in particular. When an animal is at the top of that tree eating something, and you want the sample, there's not many ways to get it.
Left with no other choice, he had to take up arms.
We use this very stout handmade slingshot from Panama that fire small pebbles up into the canopy, and leaves will come down, and it's a great way for sampling the types of foods that primates might eat.
After collecting and packing up the key samples, Dominique's real work began. Using an instrument called a spectrometer, he recorded the color of each leaf he had gathered in the field.
See that peak in this green section? So that's telling you that this is green leaves. You see how, compared to that last one, this is peaking much more here in this orange region into the red region.
Nate's day yielded a remarkable discovery. Not only were the monkeys eating red leaves composed the majority of their diet. It turns out the redder the leaf, the younger and more nutritious it is.
Old, mature leaves, the green leaves, they are tough, they're full of toxins. They're generally leaves you want to avoid. So primates in general tend to go for the youngest leaves possible. And if those young leaves also have a color cue that distinguishes them from mature leaves, then it may be a bit advantageous to evolve a mechanism for detecting those young leaves.
To primates, red wasn't simply another color. It was a beacon, a homing device, allowing them to target their key food source from a distance.
If it sees red leaves in the canopy, then it knows automatically that those particular leaves are young. And so it can save energy, save time, travel directly to those young red leaves rather than randomly searching throughout its environment.
Increased color vision, a strategic evolutionary leap that scientists discovered was one of many. Primates would soon reap the rewards of another crucial adaptation, binocular vision. It's a trait that predators have repeatedly evolved, but for primates, it served a new function.
Primates have eyes at the front of their head, but they're not predators, so why would they do that? Great thing about having two eyes pointing in the same direction is you get depth perception. If you're going to jump from one tree and try to land on another tree, depth perception is a really good trait to have.
Over time, primates evolved a binocular field of vision of 60 degrees, on par with birds of prey. It's an evolutionary step that allows primates to capitalize on their hand-eye coordination. But this increased binocular vision comes at a price. Unlike the rabbit, primates now had a limited field of view.
Most animals have eyes that are laterally placed on their heads, just as the eyes are on the side of their head. And this provides the animals with a panoramic view. And that's really, really useful for detecting predators that may be coming from behind you. So there's a significant cost to putting your eyes in the front of your head. But the advantages are that you have better depth perception and better acuity.
Once primates abandoned a vision system built for protection, birds of prey were ready to benefit. Swooping in from the sky and plucking primates from the treetops, these aerial terrors were threats to be reckoned with.
Based upon the evidence that we have from the fossils, birds of prey have been exerting some type of selective pressure on primates for as long as there have been primates and raptors.
Primates were easy targets for these winged predators. Under siege, primates evolved a new kind of behavior. They had to depend on each other.
You can imagine then that once these animals evolved eyes in front of their heads, they needed to live with other animals so that they could improve the probability of detecting a potential predator.
Group living was the primates' answer to predation. It allowed them to maintain their high degree of binocular field of vision without sacrificing safety. Their keeping watch with a communal eye resulted in an evolutionary side effect: larger, more powerful brains.
So you can see the evolution of group living. And once group living evolves, you have a strong selective pressure, or you might say that evolution favored larger brains, because that's more individuals that you have to remember.
Fossils show how the visual system of primates improved over time. Both the eye sockets and the optic nerve canal grew larger as brain size increased. Primates put huge demands on their sight. From color vision to increased binocular vision. They became extremely sensitive to the slightest change of expression on the faces of other primates. This increased need for visual processing fueled the development of intelligence.
And you can see how this sort of runaway process for group living, larger brains, avoiding predation, could give you the suite of characteristics that define the primate order to which they belong.
A complex and mysterious organ. One that has fueled evolution for more than 500 million years. Driving an eternal arms race between predator and prey. And becoming an indispensable tool for millions of species. The eye, an engine of evolution, and one of its ultimate masterpieces.
Okay, so Ms. Torrey, do you remember where is eyesight, I want to say, not differentiated, but where is it deciphered? Right. Remember? So as what we perceive comes in our eyes, okay, it's got a long ways to go, really. Does anyone know the three parts of your brain? You got a brain stem, that's your spinal cord to your brain. You have these guys, what do they call? We call it a cortex, or left and right cerebral cortex. Then what's the guy hanging, or hanging around on the back? You ring a what? Ring the what? The bell. So then this is a what? Cerebellum. That's right. So when they're talking about this brain power, it's essentially true because in brain function, I can't speak for all mammals, but especially humans, your cortex is beside your coordination. There are 4 things that your cortex does for you that's not related to movement. Okay? They might be your language, your emotion, okay? Then, I guess, yeah, coordination, sorry. And then last one I forget. Memory, that's right. So with that, to have all that in our brains, it needs to grow larger, and it did. But like I said, I think what sets us apart from the animal kingdom is our intelligent design, along with our feeling of compassion for one another. I do believe so. For in the past, when parents, I'm so nervous about them going off to basic training, and I say, when I say that compassion, drill sergeant, yes, they're going to get angry. Yes, they're going to yell at you. But for some reason, not feeling well, and you fall out of a march, they don't just leave you there. Yeah. They're very concerned about your well-being. I don't know. Hopefully, that was very evident when you're down in South Carolina. Believe it or not, sometimes, God, I can't stand that drill sergeant. They're essentially looking out for your best interest, believe it or not. Okay. We will continue with this tomorrow.